Hi, everybody. It's Jessica from Chambray Blues. I am trying something new today. We're going to be going live with StreamYard and see how that works. Hopefully, once I get the hang of things, I'll be able to do live broadcasts not just here on Facebook, but also on YouTube and maybe in some of my groups as well. So this is the first time. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you can hear me and if anybody's there. So a couple things to talk about coming up here on the page and in the group. I have been working on a new website that will be a membership community kind of a thing where we're going to have all kinds of classes. I've been doing video tutorials on different subjects and putting together all kinds of new material in the form of classes. Even if you're a very beginner, I'll have things for you. And if you're more advanced and want to learn things like embroidery or draping or pattern making, I'll have all kinds of that stuff also. I have been working on some new designs and I'll show you a couple of those in just a few minutes. So it's going to be a lot of fun and I hope that you will stick around, and we'll be talking more about it upcoming in the next couple of weeks here. But for right now, I want to talk about what I sewed for the month of July 2020. So it was actually kind of a productive month for me. I was thinking that I didn't sew very much, and then when I started pulling things out and kind of looking at them, it was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. One of the things I've been trying to do is to work through my unfinished sewing bin, my leftover projects that I kind of ditched in the middle of and moved on to something else. So I have a couple of those to show you. This first one, it's really nothing to write home about. It's actually sort of funny. So I started sewing these pajama pants like 2 years ago. And I sewed the top, and I love the top. I wear the top a lot, except I don't really wear it as pajamas. I wear it underneath a vest in the wintertime. It's just a turtleneck with long sleeves, and it's just super comfortable. It's just cotton knit. This is a mystery knit. I think I got at Walmart for like $1 a yard. I mean, like, super cheap. And I cut out the pants and I sewed the elastic on, or started to, and then I just dropped it and threw it in the bin, and it's been in the bin for probably 2 years, which is ridiculous, right? Elastic isn't that difficult. So I pulled out some fun, shiny elastic that I've had from some other projects, and I actually pieced it together. You can see the back has got kind of big seams in it where I pieced the elastic together so that I could get them finished and at least be wearing them. I'm just wearing them to, to sleep in with a t-shirt or something, and they're really comfortable, and it's just sort of a real low-key project. But I decided to cut them off. So they were pants, as I mentioned, and I chopped them off. I used a narrow rolled hem for the bottom, and I don't know if you've ever tried rolled hem, but it's very easy to use. It's a very tight little stitch. You do it on your serger, and then with a knit fabric like this, if you pull it a little bit, when it relaxes, it makes this cool wavy edge. Back in the day, in the 1980s and 90s, when lettuce edge hems were all the rage, we did that on absolutely everything, and I think it's coming back. So I just thought I'd, clue you in on that, because I'll be doing more of it because I love it. So anyway, that was my kind of fun, easy surprise project. It only took me like an hour to finish them, and it's probably not even an hour, a lot less than that. Anyway, they're done. Thank goodness, right? Okay, moving on. I have been working towards sewing fall things. So the next one I have here is the denim skirt that I made. It's a wrap skirt. I love it. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going backwards here. I put just the few buttons on the front, and it has a sort of a open front, which is okay. I used some cotton fabric to do a Hong Kong finish on the inside, which is one of the tutorials that will be coming up in the group. You're going to want to stick around for that. It has more contrasting binding around the back of it, and I like that. So it'll be coming up in the new patterns. It's really comfortable to wear. I love it with a blouse or a t-shirt, and just easy to put on and wear out the door. The denim is great. It doesn't wrinkle, and it's just super easy to work with. So more on that. Okay, so you may have seen me post this skirt in the group. It's a little bit wrinkled. This was an exercise in patience for me. I was working on the embroidery for a long time, and I just kind of sort of stopped with the embroidery. I got kind of frustrated because it had some issues. So I did two different techniques. The first side I used a stiffer backing, a tearaway backing, and the embroidery turned out beautifully. No issues with that. Then when I went to flip the embroidery, so these are mirror images of each other. Here, I hope you can see that. When I went to flip it on the other side, I had some problems. So my machine didn't move back to the original position that it started in for the embroidery, and I didn't realize it. About halfway through this happened. So I had some imperfections here and here. You can see the colors are a little different from the other side. And anyway, I still like it. I'm wearing it. I took a poll in one of the larger groups on Facebook, and there were like 800 comments on this post about whether or not I should go back and cut the embroidery out and start over. I don't know if you've ever tried to remove embroidery, but it's not easy to do. You can put holes in your fabric. You probably will stretch your fabric, and it's never going to look the same. Lining up the needle to redo stitches in embroidery is not that easy to do. I've done it a couple of times successfully, and I've done it several times where it hasn't been successful. So it's really a call of judgment, a judgment call. And I decided for this particular project, I'd spent enough time on it. I mean, the embroidery took probably 3 hours to stitch out, easily 3 hours. A lot of thread, a lot of stabilizer, and I just didn't feel like making it perfect. But you know what? You really don't notice. If you look here in the group and on the page, there is supposed to be wearing this skirt, and you would never know that there's anything wrong with it. One comment I got from someone was, if anybody is that close to you to see the imperfections, they had better be Tom Selleck. And I love that. You have no idea how much I love Tom Selleck. But I love this new thing that I've learned, that things don't have to be perfect to be wearable, to be usable, and to still look good. So I'm enjoying the skirt, and I'm not going to worry about it. A couple of things with this project. So this is another project that I will be have a tutorial for inside the group. I used some more of this shiny elastic in here in the top of the skirt, and I don't really love the way it turned out. It kind of turned out sort of wrinkly and bumpy. I guess I stretched the elastic a little bit too much when I was putting it in, and with the style that I wanted was just to have the elastic folded over, and then it's just stitched along the edge here, which I've seen them do in ready to wear, and it didn't look like this. So I pulled my elastic a little bit too much. Next time I will know better that I can't do that. And I've discovered that this shiny stuff is actually kind of itchy to have next to your skin, because on the other side, there's no shiny material, and it's more comfortable to wear. So I would flip the elastic so that the plain side would be towards your skin. Anyway, long story short, that's the skirt. It'll be an upcoming tutorial in the group, and I still like it. Oh, I forgot to show you the hem. So the hem here is heirloom stitching. It's just a stitch that's in my sewing machine, and it's just 3 rows that I did on it, about 1 inch apart, with embroidery thread, and it worked out pretty well. I like the decorative look on it, and it's not embroidery, it's just regular stitching. You wouldn't know the difference, but that's what it is. Okay, so all right, a couple other things. So this one was a quick make. as well. This is a little kimono blouse. Got a simple kimono sleeve. Can you see that? And it's just 100% cotton. And I used self fabric binding for the neckline, and it went together really quickly, and I love it. I wear it with my denim skirt that I showed you earlier, and it's going to be a really basic pattern, simple to make, that you can do in lots of different fabrics and colors. And it's a great layering piece underneath jackets and stuff, so you'll see more of that coming up as well. All right, on to the dresses. So I had been working on summer collection up until just a couple days ago. I have 2 more dresses to finish for my summer sewing, and then I'm going to be all about fall. But for right now, I'll show you the ones that I have made that I really like. That'll be upcoming patterns. I'm not quite sure when they're going to be released. I'm spending all my time building this website. When I get that up and running, then I'll go back to working on the patterns and getting them ready to go out for grading and so forth. But it might be a little bit yet. I'll of course announce it when they're ready. But so this first one is a caftan type dress. It's got a V-neck. It has self fabric binding. You see that? The fabric is actually kind of an orange print. It looks kind of red here online, but it's beautiful. It's a soft knit, and I just love it. The sleeves, I did that same rolled hem on, and they have a bit of a tie on the bottom of the sleeve. You can see that, which looks really cute on. So I'm very happy with it. I would love to make a couple of these for fall, maybe even in a woven fabric as well. This particular one is a knit, and it turned out great. I do have more of this knit fabric available in my Etsy store. I will link that in the comments. If anybody's interested, I do have some that you could purchase. All right, so the yellow dress is next. This fabric is from Mood Fabrics. I have had it for a while. It took me some time to kind of figure out exactly what I wanted to do with it. And I just decided it was just going to be a fun piece. It's a lightweight rayon. It's digitally printed. So you get the 3-dimensional look of the butterflies. And I had seen a dress in the Johnny Boss catalog, who's one of my favorite designers. And I posted it here in the group, the inspiration photo from that. But the original dress was a tank style dress like this, and it had scalloped embroidery around the armholes and neck, and then contrasting ribbon down the front. And theirs was an embroidered ribbon, which I would love to do, but I can't seem to find embroidered ribbon that'll work with much on the market right now. So I decided to go with the fun leopard print ribbon instead for this piece. So this dress is really lightweight. It's really comfortable to wear, and I do like the way it turned out. However, I would reshape it a little bit going forward. So this is sort of a wearable muslin for this style. I probably need to take the armholes in a little bit and maybe raise them up a little. And for me personally, I just sort of prefer a lower neckline. I thought, well, I should do something with a higher neckline to give more options, but just isn't as flattering as I would like it to be. Even with the vertical lines of the ribbon, just doesn't do much for me. So that's what that one is. It's easy to sew, and you'll see more of that style later on when I get some more prints in to work with. Okay, so this one is my most recent make. I don't know if you saw my post about the disastrous experience I had gathering with dental floss. This is no lie. That stuff is a nightmare to work with. I had seen a YouTube video on how to gather with dental floss, and I thought, oh, I should try that. That'd be really great. It's not so great. Part of the problem was I used waxed floss instead of unwaxed. Who knew? I did not realize that there was, a difference when gathering, that you should use unwaxed floss. This stuff is slicker than snot and slipped and slid all over everywhere, and the gathers basically slid right out every time I was trying to sew them in place. They would bunch up, and it was just a mess. I redid it 3 times. This tiered skirt. This has big, long tiers on the skirt here. Redid the sucker 3 times, 3 times. It did not work, and it did not work, and it did not work. And I was sewing and sewing on top of my last sewing, and then more dental floss, and it was stuck in my chair. It was stuck on the needle of the machine. It was stuck and wrapped around my face. It was just a nightmare, absolute nightmare. I mean, I don't usually have a ton of issues with sewing because I've been doing this a really, really long time, but this was a nightmare. So I'm never touching dental floss again, well, other than to brush my teeth, of course, to work on my teeth. So anyway, long story, that's what it was all about. But I do kind of like the heirloom stitching on the top part of the dress. So if you've been around a while, you may know that I'm not a big fan of facings, and I don't use a lot of facings in things that I design. I think going forward, I will probably have options for facings and for non-facings in my patterns, just because a lot of people prefer the more traditional method, and that's fine. It's just my personal preference that I just don't love facings on everything. For this dress, I decided to use this heirloom stitch, which actually finishes the edge of the fabric all the way around the neck instead of a facing. So the denim is a little bit unravelly, if that's a word. It unravels. The stitch should really hold it in place, but there's little bits of it that kind of unravel. And this may drive you OCD type people crazy, but I really like it that way. I don't mind that it has little bitty threads on it, and I know it's going to drive my mom crazy because she lives with me and she's always like picking threads off me all the time, and I'm sure it's going to drive her nuts. But I like kind of the rustic, casual look of it, so that's what I'm going with, and we'll work on making everybody else understand my vision later. That's it. That's the other thing that I sewed this month. So that's pretty much the whole shebang of it. Like I said, I'm working on some new styles. I do have 3 other dresses that I have cut here and ready to go. And if I have a few minutes, I can just sit down and zip, 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 put them together. But right now, this website is taking a lot of my time. So what to look for in the future. There will be more live sessions now that I understand how StreamYard works. I will do more lives. You can sign up for notifications. Somewhere here, there's a button that says turn on notifications for my live posts. You can do that. You can follow some of the links that I'll post here in the group to be on the waiting list for the membership site that's coming up. The paid community that'll be coming up, so I'll post that in here. And I have more fabric to review coming up in the next week or so. We'll do another live and talk about some fall fabrics, and hopefully I'll have couple more summer dresses to show you before I start all in on the fall items. So that's all for now. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks. Have a great day.